I wake up to the sound of my alarm, the familiar beeping pulling me from a restless sleep. Linda stirs beside me, her back turned. Our bed feels colder these days, the distance between us growing more palpable. I get up quietly, careful not to wake her, and head to the bathroom. As I shave, I stare at my reflection, wondering where things went wrong. Linda and I used to be inseparable. We met in college, fell in love, and built a life together. But lately, something's changed. She's been distant, preoccupied. I try to brush it off, blaming it on her demanding job at the corporation. Her boss, Richard, is known for pushing his employees to the brink. Still, I can't shake the feeling that there's more to it. Downstairs, I make coffee, the aroma filling the kitchen. I check my phone, scrolling through emails. Nothing urgent. I glance at the clock and realize Linda should be up by now. I head back upstairs to find her still in bed, staring at the ceiling. "Morning," I say softly, sitting on the edge of the bed. She turns to me with a tired smile. "Morning. Didn't sleep well," she mutters, her voice barely above a whisper. I nod, feeling a pang of worry. "Everything okay? You've been so stressed lately." She sighs, rubbing her eyes. "It's just work. Richard's been relentless. I'm sorry if I've been distant." I lean in, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "We'll get through this, okay? I'm here for you." She nods, but her eyes don't quite meet mine. I kiss her forehead and head to the shower, the warm water doing little to wash away my concerns. At work, I try to focus, but my mind keeps drifting back to Linda. I decide to call her during lunch, just to check in. She picks up on the third ring. "Hey, how's your day going?" I ask, trying to sound casual. "Busy," she replies curtly. I hear Richard's voice in the background, and my stomach tightens. "I miss you," I say, hoping to bridge the gap between us. "Me too. I'll see you tonight," she says, hanging up quickly. The rest of the day drags on. By the time I get home, it's dark. Linda's car's in the driveway, but the house is eerily quiet. I find her in the living room, staring at her laptop. "Long day?" I ask, dropping my briefcase by the door. She nods, not looking up. "Yeah, I need to finish this report." I sit beside her, placing a hand on her knee. "Take a break. We can order in, watch a movie." She shakes her head, her focus unwavering. "I can't. Maybe later." I head to the kitchen, my chest tight with frustration. As I prepare dinner, I replay our conversations in my mind, searching for clues. Something is definitely off, but I can't put my finger on it. After dinner, Linda retreats to the bedroom with her laptop. I sit alone in the living room, the TV on, but my mind elsewhere. Everything seems ordinary, but deep down, I know one event will completely change my life. I just don't know when it will hit. I can't stop thinking about the call. The voice on the other end of the line was slurred and mocking. I hear it replay in my mind, taunting me. "Your wife is busy in bed, keeping me entertained." I bolt from my office chair, grabbing my keys. My heart pounds and my vision narrows. The drive home is a blur. Each second feels like an eternity. I need to see it with my own eyes. I pull up to the house and rush to the front door, fumbling with the key. Inside, I hear muffled voices and laughter. My hands tremble as I push the door open. Linda's voice echoes from upstairs, mingling with a man's deeper tone. I take the stairs two at a time, my heart threatening to burst from my chest. At our bedroom door, I pause, my breath ragged. I slam the door open, and there they are. Linda and Richard, tangled in the sheets, completely oblivious to my presence. "What the hell is going on?" I roar, my voice shaking the walls. Linda gasps, scrambling to cover herself. Richard just smirks, not bothering to hide. The arrogance in his eyes makes my blood boil. "John, it's not what it looks like," Linda stammers, her voice trembling. "Not what it looks like?" I shout, feeling the heat rise to my face. "I see exactly what it is." Richard sits up, his movements slow and deliberate. "Calm down, John. This is between me and Linda." "Get out," I hiss, my fists clenched at my sides. "Get the hell out of my house." Richard stands, taking his time to dress. He winks at Linda before sauntering past me. I fight the urge to punch him, my body shaking with rage. "John, please!" Linda pleads, tears streaming down her face. Let me explain. I turn to her, my heart breaking. Explain? You betrayed me, Linda. How could you do this? She sobs, clutching the sheet to her chest. He, he offered me a promotion in exchange for this. I feel sick. My stomach churns with a mix of anger and betrayal. So, you sold yourself for a promotion? Is that it? It's not that simple, she cries, reaching out to me. I didn't want to, but he pressured me. I was scared. I step back, avoiding her touch. Scared? You should have come to me. We could have found a way. She collapses onto the bed, her sobs racking her body. I'm sorry. I thought I could handle it. I can't stand to look at her. I grab my phone, recording their shame. This isn't over, I mutter, storming out of the room. I upload the video online, my hands shaking with a mix of adrenaline and dread. The internet explodes with reactions. The scandal spreads like wildfire. Richard's smug face is everywhere. I feel a grim satisfaction, knowing I've exposed them. That night I sleep on the couch, unable to face Linda. My mind races, replaying the events over and over. Her excuses echo in my ears, but they do nothing to soothe my anger. I can't erase the image of them together from my mind. The next morning I wake to the sound of my phone buzzing. Dozens of messages and missed calls flood my screen. Linda stands in the doorway, her eyes red and puffy. John, please, we need to talk. I sit up, my body aching from the uncomfortable night. What is there to talk about? You cheated. You lied. You destroyed us. She steps closer, her voice barely a whisper. Richard called. He's threatening us. He said if you don't take down the video, he'll ruin our lives. I laugh bitterly. Ruin our lives? He's already done that. He means it, John, she says, her voice desperate. He has connections, power. He can make things very difficult for us. I stand, my anger boiling over. Let him try. I'm not afraid of him. Linda's eyes widen, her fear palpable. John, please, think about what you're doing. I have, I say, my voice cold, and I'm not backing down. Days turn into a blur of threats and counter-threats. Richard's lawyers contact me, demanding I remove the video. I refuse, my resolve hardening with each passing day. Linda is a wreck, her guilt and fear consuming her. Our home becomes a battleground, every conversation a landmine. One evening, my phone rings. It's an unknown number. I answer, my heart pounding. John, it's Richard, the voice sneers. You've made a big mistake. Have I? I retort, my anger flaring. You've ruined my life. Now I'm ruining yours. Take down the video, he growls, or you'll regret everything. I hang up, my hands shaking. I need a plan. I can't let him win. I spend hours researching Richard, digging into his past. I find more than I expected. Corruption, bribery, and countless affairs. He's worse than I thought. I call an old friend, Max, who works in cybersecurity. I need your help, I say, my voice urgent. Max listens as I explain everything. You sure about this, John? It could get dangerous. I'm sure, I reply, my determination unwavering. I need to take him down. Max agrees to help, and we devise a plan. We'll expose Richard's corrupt dealings, using the video as leverage. It's risky, but it's our best shot. Linda remains distant, her guilt a constant shadow. I want to forgive her, but the wound is too fresh, too deep. I focus on the plan, pouring my energy into bringing Richard down. The day of the confrontation arrives. Max and I gather our evidence, preparing for the showdown. I feel a mix of fear and exhilaration. This is it, the moment everything changes. I meet Richard at a secluded spot, my heart pounding in my chest. He arrives flanked by his lawyers. His smug smile makes my skin crawl. John, he says, his tone dripping with condescension. Let's settle this like adults. Fine, I reply, my voice steady. Take down the video, and I'll forget this ever happened. He laughs, a cruel sound. You think you can blackmail me? You're out of your depth. I hand him a folder containing the evidence of his corruption. His smile falters as he flips through the pages. You'll never get away with this, he snarls, his facade cracking. Watch me, I say, my voice cold. You either back off, or I go public with everything. His eyes narrow, and for a moment I see fear. Real, genuine fear. He knows he's cornered. We'll see about that, he spits, turning on his heel and storming away. I feel a rush of victory, but it's short-lived. The threats escalate. Anonymous messages, veiled warnings. I know Richard is desperate, but so am I. I can't let him win. Linda and I barely speak. Our home feels like a prison, the tension suffocating. I find solace in my resolve, knowing I'm doing the right thing. One night, as I'm working late, Linda approaches me. John, we need to talk. I sigh, closing my laptop. What now? She sits beside me, her eyes filled with tears. I know I've hurt you. I know you may never forgive me, but I want to help. I want to make things right. I look at her, my heart aching. It's too late, Linda. Please, she begs, her voice breaking. Let me help you bring him down. I know things about Richard that can destroy him. I hesitate, torn between my anger and my love for her. Fine, but this doesn't change anything between us. She nods, wiping her tears. I understand. Just let me help. Together we gather more evidence. Linda provides insider information, revealing Richard's darkest secrets. The more we uncover, the more determined I become. The final piece falls into place. We have everything we need to expose Richard. I contact a journalist, someone I trust, and arrange a meeting. The day arrives, and I feel a mix of fear and excitement. Linda and I sit across from the journalist, laying out our evidence. She listens intently, her eyes widening as we reveal the extent of Richard's corruption. This is huge, she says, her voice filled with awe. We'll need to verify everything, but if this checks out, it will destroy him. I nod, feeling a surge of hope. It will check out. I promise you that. The following days are a whirlwind. The story breaks, and the media frenzy is intense. Richard's empire crumbles, his face plastered across every screen. He's arrested, his crimes exposed for the world to see. Linda and I watch the news together, a strange sense of camaraderie between us. We've done it. We've brought him down. But the victory is bittersweet. Our relationship is in ruins, the trust shattered. We sit in silence, the weight of our actions settling over us. I'm sorry, Linda whispers, her voice barely audible. I know, I reply, my heart heavy, but I don't know if I can ever forgive you. She nods, tears streaming down her face. I understand. We sit together, watching as Richard is led away in handcuffs. The battle is over. I wake up, my mind already racing. The adrenaline from the last few weeks hasn't faded. Richard's arrest was a victory, but the battle is far from over. The threats haven't stopped. They've just changed form. Linda and I barely speak, living like strangers in the same house. The tension is palpable, each word a potential trigger for an argument. I spend most of my time in my home office, researching, planning my next move. Max calls, his voice urgent. John, we need to meet. I found something. We arrange to meet at a coffee shop downtown. I arrive early, the anticipation gnawing at me. Max walks in, looking around before spotting me. He sits down, his expression serious. What did you find? I ask, leaning in. He slides a folder across the table. Richard's been laundering money through offshore accounts. I trace some transactions back to key political figures. This goes deeper than we thought. I flip through the documents, my heart pounding. This is explosive, but how do we use it? We need to be careful, Max says, lowering his voice. These people play dirty. We need to find a way to leak this without putting ourselves in danger. We discuss our options, my mind racing with possibilities. Max suggests contacting a whistleblower organization, someone who can verify and disseminate the information without tracing it back to us. It's risky, but it might be our best shot. As I leave the coffee shop, my phone buzzes. It's an anonymous number. I hesitate before answering. John? The voice on the other end is chillingly familiar. It's Richard. You think you've won, but you have no idea what you're up against. I swallow hard, forcing myself to stay calm. You're in jail, Richard. Your power is gone. He laughs, a cold, menacing sound. You're naive if you think prison bars can stop me. I have allies everywhere. If you don't back off, you'll regret it. The line goes dead. I stand there, the threat hanging over me like a dark cloud. I know he's serious. I need to be smarter, faster. At home, Linda is waiting for me. Her eyes are red, and she looks exhausted. We need to talk, she says, her voice breaking. Not now, Linda, I say, brushing past her. I have too much on my plate. Please, she insists, grabbing my arm. I want to help. I shake her off, frustration boiling over. Help? You've done enough already. She flinches, tears welling up. I'm trying to make things right. I sigh, the fight draining out of me. Fine, what is it? She takes a deep breath. I've been talking to some of Richard's other victims. They're willing to come forward if we can guarantee their safety. We can use their testimonies to strengthen our case. I nod slowly, considering her words. All right, set up a meeting. Linda arranges for us to meet at a safe house. The place is run down, a stark contrast to the opulence of Richard's world. We arrive and a group of nervous, weary people greet us. Their stories are heartbreaking. Coercion, blackmail, ruined lives. Each testimony adds another layer to Richard's crimes. As we leave, Linda reaches for my hand. I hesitate before letting her take it. Thank you, she whispers, for giving me a chance to help. I nod, unable to speak. The weight of what we're doing presses down on me. We're in deep, and there's no turning back. Days blur together as we gather more evidence, preparing for the trial. The media frenzy intensifies, each new revelation adding fuel to the fire. Richard's allies scramble to distance themselves, but the net is closing in. One night as I'm working late, there's a knock at the door. I open it to find a man in a dark suit, his expression unreadable. Mr. John, may I come in? I step aside, my instincts on high alert. He hands me a business card. I'm with the FBI. We've been monitoring Richard's activities for a while. We'd like to discuss your findings. We sit down and he listens as I lay out everything we've discovered. His face remains impassive, but I see the glint of interest in his eyes. This is substantial, he says finally. We can offer you protection and support if you're willing to work with us. I agree, relief flooding through me. With the FBI involved, we have a real chance of taking Richard down for good. The trial date approaches, the tension reaching a fever pitch. Linda and I barely sleep, the fear and anticipation eating away at us. The day before the trial, we receive another threat, a package containing photos of our family, along with a note. Back off, or they'll pay the price. I show the photos to the FBI agent, my hands shaking. They're threatening my family. We'll increase security, he assures me. Don't let them intimidate you. You're doing the right thing. The morning of the trial, I stand in front of the courthouse, my heart pounding. Linda stands beside me, her face pale but determined. We're in this together, she says, squeezing my hand. Inside, the courtroom buzzes with anticipation. Richard sits at the defense table, his eyes boring into mine. I meet his gaze, refusing to back down. The trial begins, each side presenting their case. The prosecutor lays out the evidence meticulously, piece by piece dismantling Richard's defense. The testimonies from his victims are powerful, their stories painting a damning picture of his corruption. When it's my turn to testify, I take a deep breath and step forward. I recount everything, the affair, the threats, the corruption. My voice shakes, but I force myself to stay strong. This is my chance to make things right. Richard's lawyer tries to discredit me, but the evidence is overwhelming. The jury listens intently, their expressions hardening with each revelation. By the time the prosecutor finishes, it's clear the tide has turned against Richard. The defense tries to mount a counterattack, but it's weak, desperate. Richard's smug facade crumbles as the walls close in. I watch him squirm, a grim satisfaction settling over me. After days of testimony, the jury deliberates. The wait is agonizing, each minute stretching into an eternity. Linda and I sit in silence, the weight of everything pressing down on us. Finally, the jury returns. The courtroom falls silent as the foreman stands. We find the defendant, Richard Thompson, guilty on all charges. A collective gasp fills the room. Richard's face pales, his eyes wide with shock. He's led away in handcuffs, his empire in ruins. Outside the courthouse, the media swarms us, their cameras flashing. I make a brief statement, thanking the victims for their bravery and the authorities for their support. Linda stands beside me, her hand in mine, a united front. As we drive home, a sense of relief washes over me. The battle is over, but the scars remain. Linda and I have a long road ahead, but for the first time in months, I feel a glimmer of hope. At home, we sit together on the couch, the tension between us easing. "We did it," Linda says softly. "Yeah," I reply, my voice tinged with exhaustion. "We did." She looks at me, her eyes filled with a mix of regret and hope. "Can we move forward, John? Can we heal?" I take a deep breath, the enormity of the question weighing on me. "It's going to take time, but we can try." She nods, tears in her eyes. "Thank you." We sit in silence, the weight of our journey settling over us. The road ahead is uncertain, but we've taken the first step, and for now that's enough. The day after the verdict, I wake up with a sense of unease. Richard is behind bars, but his threats still echo in my mind. I know he has allies who won't let this go easily. As I sit at the kitchen table drinking coffee, Linda walks in. She looks better, more relaxed, but the tension between us lingers. "We need to stay alert," I say, breaking the silence. Linda nods, sitting across from me. "I know. I'm scared, John." "We'll get through this," I assure her, though I'm not entirely convinced myself. My phone buzzes and I see it's Max. "Hey, what's up?" "We need to meet," he says, his tone urgent. "There's something you need to see." I agree, and an hour later, I'm at his place. He looks tense, more so than usual. "What's going on?" I ask. Max hands me a file. "I've been digging deeper. Richard's allies are planning something. They're not giving up without a fight." I flip through the documents, my heart racing. It's worse than I thought. They're planning to frame me, make it look like I orchestrated the whole thing for financial gain. My mind races, trying to find a way out. "We need to act fast," Max says. "We have to gather more evidence. Prove your innocence." I nod, determination replacing fear. "Let's do it." The next few days are a whirlwind. Max and I work tirelessly, following leads, hacking into databases, and gathering testimonies. Each piece of evidence brings us closer to the truth, but the risk grows with every step. I feel like a hunted man, constantly looking over my shoulder. One night, as I'm poring over files, Linda approaches. "John, you need to rest. You're going to burn out." "I can't stop now," I say, my eyes glued to the screen. "We're so close." She places a hand on my shoulder. "Please, just take a break. We need you." I sigh, closing the laptop. She's right. I'm no good to anyone if I collapse. "Okay, just for a bit." We sit on the couch, the tension easing slightly. Linda snuggles close, her warmth a comfort. "I miss this," she whispers. "Us, being together." "Me too," I admit, my heart aching. "But we have a long way to go." She nods, understanding. We sit in silence, finding solace in each other's presence. The next day we get a break. Max finds a key witness, someone who used to work for Richard and knows all his secrets. We arrange to meet at a secluded location, hoping to avoid detection. The drive there is tense, my mind racing with possibilities. We arrive at an abandoned warehouse, the air thick with anticipation. The witness, a nervous-looking man in his mid-40s, steps out from the shadows. "You're John?" he asks, his voice shaky. "Yes," I reply, extending my hand. "Thank you for meeting us." He nods, glancing around nervously. "I don't have much time. Richard's people are everywhere." "Tell us what you know," I urge, my voice steady. He takes a deep breath. "I was Richard's accountant. I handled all his dirty money. He's been laundering funds through various shell companies, paying off politicians and law enforcement." I listen, my anger growing with each revelation. "This is the proof we need. Can you testify? We need your statement to take him down for good." He hesitates, fear in his eyes. "If I do, they'll come after me. My family." "We can protect you," I assure him, though I know it's a dangerous promise. He looks at me, weighing his options. Finally, he nods. "Okay, I'll testify." We leave the warehouse, a sense of hope mingling with dread. This is it, the final push. But the threats intensify. Anonymous messages, veiled warnings. I know we're close to the edge. The night before the trial, I can't sleep. I lie in bed staring at the ceiling, my mind a whirlwind of fear and determination. Linda turns to me, her eyes filled with concern. "We're doing the right thing," she says, her voice steady. "I know," I reply, though doubt gnaws at me. The trial begins, and the tension is palpable. The courtroom is packed, the media buzzing with anticipation. Richard's allies are there, their eyes boring into me. I feel the weight of their hatred, their desire for revenge. The prosecutor presents the new evidence, each piece a nail in Richard's coffin. The witness takes the stand, his testimony a damning account of Richard's crimes. I watch Richard, his face a mask of fury and fear. He knows he's losing. When it's my turn to testify, I take a deep breath, stepping forward. I recount everything, my voice steady despite the fear clawing at me. I see the jurors' faces, their expressions hardening with each revelation. The truth is undeniable. Richard's lawyer tries to discredit me, but it's a futile effort. The evidence is overwhelming. By the time the prosecutor finishes, it's clear we've won. The jury deliberates, and the wait is agonizing. Each minute feels like an eternity. Linda and I sit in silence, the weight of everything pressing down on us. Finally, the jury returns. We find the defendant, Richard Thompson, guilty on all charges. The room erupts. Richard's face pales, his eyes wide with shock. He's led away in handcuffs, his empire in ruins. I feel a rush of victory, but it's short-lived. The threats haven't stopped. Richard's allies are still out there. Outside the courthouse, the media swarms us. I make a brief statement, thanking everyone for their support. Linda stands beside me, a united front. We've won the battle, but the war isn't over. At home, we sit together on the couch, the tension between us easing. "We did it," Linda says softly. "Yeah," I reply, my voice tinged with exhaustion. "We did." She looks at me, her eyes filled with a mix of regret and hope. "Can we move forward, John? Can we heal?" I take a deep breath, the enormity of the question weighing on me. "It's going to take time, but we can try." She nods, tears in her eyes. "Thank you." We sit in silence, the weight of our journey settling over us. The road ahead is uncertain, but we've taken the first step, and for now that's enough. The next day I wake up early. The house is quiet, a stark contrast to the chaos of the past weeks. I make coffee, the routine a comfort. Linda joins me, her smile tentative but genuine. "Morning," she says, her voice soft. "Morning," I reply, handing her a cup. We sit together, sipping our coffee in comfortable silence. The doorbell rings, breaking the peace. I answer it, finding an envelope on the doorstep. No return address. I open it, my heart sinking as I read the contents. It's a letter from one of Richard's allies, a final threat. "You may have won this round, but we're not done. Watch your back." I show the letter to Linda, her face paling. "What do we do?" she asks, her voice trembling. "We stay vigilant," I say, my resolve hardening. "We won't let them scare us?" She nods, determination replacing fear. "We can do this." We contact the FBI, informing them of the threat. They assure us they'll increase security, but I know it's not enough. We need to be prepared for anything. Days turn into weeks, the tension easing but never fully disappearing. Linda and I work to rebuild our relationship, taking small steps towards healing. We attend counseling, finding solace in each other's presence. One evening, as we sit on the porch watching the sunset, Linda turns to me. "I love you, John," she says, her voice filled with sincerity. "I love you too," I reply, my heart full. "We've been through hell, but we've come out stronger. The road ahead is still uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, I feel hopeful. The threats haven't stopped, but we're ready. We know what we're up against, and we're prepared to fight. Richard's allies may come for us, but we won't back down." As the sun sets, casting a warm glow over our home, I take Linda's hand. We've faced the darkness together, and we'll face whatever comes next. For now, we have each other, and that's enough. I wake up to the sound of my phone vibrating on the nightstand. Groggy, I grab it, squinting at the screen. It's Max. I sit up, the urgency in his voice clear. John, I found something. Meet me at the usual place. I glance at Linda, still asleep beside me, and quietly get dressed. I leave a note on the kitchen table and head out. The drive to Max's place is tense, my mind racing with possibilities. What now? What else can Richard's allies throw at us? Max greets me at the door, looking more haggard than usual. He leads me to his makeshift office, where his computer screens are filled with lines of code and financial records. I've been tracing the money flow from Richard's accounts. It's worse than we thought. His allies are still active, trying to cover their tracks. He shows me the latest findings: offshore accounts, shady transactions, and connections to powerful figures. It's a tangled web, but we're starting to unravel it. We need to take this to the authorities. I say, my voice steady despite the fear gnawing at me. Max nods. Agreed, but we have to be careful. They know we're close. We spend the next few hours compiling our evidence, making sure everything is airtight. As we finish, I get a call from the FBI agent we've been working with. We've got your back, John. Bring us what you have, and we'll move quickly. I hang up, feeling a mix of relief and dread. The end is in sight, but it's going to be a dangerous path. I head home, the weight of our mission pressing down on me. Linda is in the kitchen when I return, her face lighting up when she sees me. Did you find anything? Yeah, I say, pulling her into a hug. We've got what we need. We're taking it to the FBI. Her eyes widen with a mix of hope and fear. Do you think it will be enough? It has to be, I reply, my voice firm. We can't keep living like this. That night, we barely sleep. The anticipation and fear keep us awake, holding each other tightly. We've come so far, and the thought of losing now is unbearable. The next morning, we meet with the FBI. Max hands over the evidence, and the agents go through it meticulously. This is solid, one of them says. We'll move on this immediately. But you need to be prepared. They'll retaliate. I nod, steeling myself for what's to come. We're ready. Days turn into a blur of tension and waiting. The FBI moves swiftly, arresting several of Richard's allies and freezing their accounts. The media frenzy is intense, the story dominating headlines. We watch the news, the sense of victory tempered by the knowledge that it's not over yet. One evening, as we're sitting on the porch, my phone rings. It's the FBI agent. John, we've got them. The key players are in custody, but we've uncovered something else. They were planning to come after you and Linda. We've increased security around your home. I thank him, my heart pounding. We're safe for now, I tell Linda. She nods, but the fear in her eyes is still there. The next day, we receive another letter, but this time, it's different. It's an apology from one of Richard's former associates, who's turned on him and is willing to testify. He provides more details, names, and evidence. This is the final nail in the coffin. We take the letter to the FBI, and they move quickly to secure the new witness. The trial is fast-tracked, and we prepare for another intense battle in court. As the trial begins, the courtroom is packed with media and spectators. The atmosphere is charged, the tension palpable. The prosecution presents the new evidence, and the former associate's testimony is damning. Richard's allies try to discredit him, but the truth is undeniable. Piece by piece, the corrupt network is exposed. When it's my turn to testify again, I feel a strange sense of calm. I recount our journey, the threats, and the fear, but I also speak of our determination to see justice served. The jury listens intently, their expressions hardening with each revelation. Linda takes the stand next, her voice steady despite the fear. She talks about the impact on our family, the threats we've faced, and our resolve to fight back. Her words are powerful, and I see some jurors nodding in agreement. After days of testimony, the jury deliberates. The wait is agonizing, each minute stretching into an eternity. Finally, they return with their verdict. We find the defendants guilty on all charges. The courtroom erupts, the media flashing cameras and reporters scrambling for quotes. Richard's allies are led away in handcuffs, their empire in ruins. The relief is overwhelming, but I know it's not the end. We still have a long road ahead to rebuild our lives. Outside the courthouse, we make a brief statement, thanking everyone who supported us. Linda stands beside me, her hand in mine. We've won this battle, but there's still work to be done. As we drive home, a sense of peace settles over us. The threats may not be completely gone, but we've taken a significant step towards safety and justice. We sit on the porch watching the sunset, the tension between us easing. "We did it," Linda says softly, a smile tugging at her lips. "Yeah," I reply, my voice filled with exhaustion and relief. "We did." She looks at me, her eyes filled with a mix of hope and determination. "Can we really move forward now?" I take a deep breath, the weight of the past few months settling over me. "It's going to take time, but I believe we can." She nods, tears glistening in her eyes. "Thank you for not giving up on us." I squeeze her hand, my heart full. We're in this together. In the weeks that follow, we focus on rebuilding our lives. We attend counseling, finding ways to heal and strengthen our relationship. The media frenzy dies down, and the threats become a distant memory. We start to find a new normal, one day at a time. One evening, as we sit by the fireplace, Linda turns to me, her eyes filled with warmth. "I love you, John," she says, her voice steady. "I love you too," I reply, my heart swelling with emotion. "We've been through hell, but we've come out stronger." She smiles, leaning in for a kiss. It's a moment of pure connection, a reminder of the love that brought us together in the first place. We may have scars, but we're stronger for them. As the fire crackles, casting a warm glow over our home, I feel a sense of peace. We've faced the darkness together, and we've come out the other side. The road ahead is still uncertain, but we're ready for whatever comes next. For now, we have each other, and that's enough. Life begins to settle into a new rhythm. We focus on our future, setting goals and making plans. The past few months have been a trial by fire, but we've emerged stronger and more united. We start talking about the future, about dreams we had put on hold. Linda suggests a trip, a way to reconnect and leave the past behind. We plan a getaway, just the two of us, to a place where we can rediscover each other without the shadow of Richard hanging over us. As we pack our bags, there's a sense of excitement and hope. The future is ours to shape, and we're ready to embrace it together. We've faced our demons, and we've come out the other side. The journey has been long and hard, but we've found our way back to each other. As we drive away from the house, leaving behind the remnants of our battle, I feel a sense of freedom. We're ready for a new beginning, a new chapter in our lives. Linda reaches over, taking my hand. "Here's to our future," she says, her voice filled with hope. "To our future," I echo, my heart full. We drive towards the horizon, the sun setting behind us, casting a golden glow over the landscape. It's a new dawn, a new beginning, and we're ready to face it together. We return from our trip, feeling more connected and hopeful than we have in months. The house feels different, lighter somehow, like a weight has been lifted. But there's still a lingering sense of unease, a reminder that Richard's allies are out there, waiting for their chance. One morning as I sip my coffee, my phone buzzes. It's the FBI agent. "John, we've got a situation. One of Richard's top men, Harris, is still at large. We believe he's planning something." I feel a chill run down my spine. "What do we do?" "Stay vigilant. We've increased patrols around your neighborhood, but be careful. If you notice anything suspicious, call us immediately." I hang up, my mind racing. I can't let my guard down, not now. I tell Linda, and we both agree to be extra cautious. Days pass, and the tension builds. Every knock on the door, every unexpected sound sets me on edge. I keep my phone close, ready to call for help at a moment's notice. One night, as Linda and I sit on the couch, the doorbell rings. We exchange a worried glance. I grab a baseball bat from the closet and approach the door slowly. Peering through the peephole, I see a delivery man holding a package. I open the door cautiously. "Package for John," the man says, handing me the box. I sign for it and close the door, my hands trembling. Linda watches anxiously as I open it. Inside, there's a small, unmarked envelope. I tear it open and pull out a note. "Watch your back." My heart pounds. I show the note to Linda, her face going pale. "We need to call the FBI," she says, her voice shaking. I dial the agent's number, explaining the situation. "We'll send someone over immediately," he assures me. An hour later, 2 agents arrive. They inspect the note, their faces grim. "This is serious," one of them says. "Harris is making his move. We'll increase surveillance and station an agent outside your house." I nod, feeling a mix of fear and determination. "Thank you." Linda and I try to maintain a sense of normalcy, but it's hard. The constant threat looms over us, making it difficult to relax. Every night, I double-check the locks and windows, making sure we're secure. One evening, as I'm working in my office, I hear a noise outside. My heart skips a beat. I grab the baseball bat and head to the window, peering out into the darkness. I see a figure lurking near the edge of our property. "Linda, stay inside," I call out, my voice tense. I step outside, my hands gripping the bat tightly. "Who's there?" The figure steps forward and I recognize Harris's cold eyes. "Hello, John." I feel a surge of anger and fear. "What do you want?" He smirks, his voice dripping with malice. "You took everything from me. Now I'm going to return the favor." Before I can react, he lunges at me. We struggle, the bat slipping from my hands. He punches me and I stagger back, pain exploding in my jaw. I fight back, adrenaline coursing through me. We grapple on the ground, each trying to gain the upper hand. Suddenly I hear sirens in the distance. Harris curses, shoving me away and running into the night. I lie there breathing heavily, the sound of approaching sirens a faint comfort. The FBI agents arrive, helping me to my feet. "Are you okay?" one of them asks. I nod, wincing. "He got away." "We'll find him," the agent assures me. "But you need to be careful. He's desperate." Linda rushes out, her face etched with worry. "John, are you hurt?" "I'm fine," I say, pulling her into a hug. "But we need to be extra cautious. He's not giving up." The agents increase their presence, patrolling our neighborhood day and night. Despite the heightened security, the fear lingers. I know Harris won't stop until he's had his revenge. A few days later, I receive a call from Max. "I've got some news. We found Harris's hideout. The FBI is planning a raid." I feel a glimmer of hope. "That's great news. Do they need anything from us?" "Just stay safe," Max says. "They'll handle it." The next morning, the FBI executes the raid. I wait anxiously for news, my phone clutched in my hand. Finally, the agent calls. "We got him. Harris is in custody." Relief washes over me. "Thank you." Linda and I celebrate that night, a weight lifting off our shoulders. We know it's not completely over, but it's a significant victory. In the weeks that follow, we start to rebuild our lives. The threat of Harris is gone, and we can finally breathe easier. We focus on healing, both individually and as a couple. We attend counseling sessions, working through the trauma and rebuilding our trust. One evening, as we sit by the fireplace, Linda turns to me, her eyes filled with warmth. "I'm so grateful for you, John. We've been through so much, but we're stronger for it." I smile, taking her hand. "I couldn't have done it without you. We've faced our demons, and we've come out the other side." We kiss, a deep connection forming between us. It's a moment of pure intimacy, a reminder of the love that brought us together in the first place. We've been through hell, but we've emerged stronger and more united. As the fire crackles, casting a warm glow over our home, I feel a sense of peace. The road ahead is still uncertain, but we're ready for whatever comes next. For now, we have each other, and that's enough. Life begins to settle into a new rhythm. We focus on our future, setting goals and making plans. The past few months have been a trial by fire, but we've emerged stronger and more united. We start talking about the future, about dreams we had put on hold. Linda suggests a trip, a way to reconnect and leave the past behind. We plan a getaway, just the two of us, to a place where we can rediscover each other without the shadow of Richard hanging over us. As we pack our bags, there's a sense of excitement and hope. The future is ours to shape, and we're ready to embrace it together. We've faced our demons, and we've come out the other side. The journey has been long and hard, but we've found our way back to each other. As we drive away from the house, leaving behind the remnants of our battle, I feel a sense of freedom. We're ready for a new beginning, a new chapter in our lives. Linda reaches over, taking my hand. "Here's to our future," she says, her voice filled with hope. "To our future," I echo, my heart full. We drive towards the horizon, the sun setting behind us, casting a golden glow over the landscape. It's a new dawn, a new beginning, and we're ready to face it together. As the days pass, we find a new sense of normalcy. The fear and tension that once dominated our lives begin to fade. We focus on the simple joys, the small moments that make life meaningful. We cook together, take long walks, and talk about our dreams for the future. One night, as we sit on the porch watching the stars, Linda turns to me. "I want to start a family, John. I think we're ready." I look at her, my heart swelling with love and hope. I think we are too. We begin planning for the future, excited for the next chapter in our lives. The past is behind us, and the future is filled with promise. As we move forward, we remain vigilant, knowing that life can change in an instant. But we're stronger now, more united than ever. We've faced the darkness together, and we've come out the other side. For now, we embrace the present, cherishing each moment together. We've learned to appreciate the beauty in the everyday, the simple pleasures that make life worth living. As the sun sets, casting a warm glow over our home, I take Linda's hand. We've been through hell, but we've emerged stronger and more united. The road ahead is still uncertain, but we're ready for whatever comes next. For now, we have each other, and that's enough. Linda and I sit on the porch, watching the sunset. The golden light washes over us, bringing a sense of calm. It's been a long road, but we've come out stronger. The trials, the threats, they all feel like a distant memory now. "John, I'm proud of us," Linda says, her voice soft. I smile, squeezing her hand. "We've been through a lot, but we made it. We've faced so much, but there's a sense of closure now. Richard's allies are behind bars, and we're free to move forward." We talk about the future, about starting a family and building a new life together. The idea of a fresh start fills us with hope. The next morning, I wake up early. The house is quiet, peaceful. I head to the kitchen, making coffee and thinking about how far we've come. Linda joins me, wrapping her arms around my waist. "Good morning," she whispers, kissing my neck. "Good morning," I reply, turning to kiss her. We stand there for a moment, enjoying the simple intimacy. We decide to spend the day at the park. The weather is perfect, a clear blue sky stretching above us. We walk hand in hand, talking about our plans. The tension that once hung over us has lifted, replaced by a sense of excitement. As we sit on a bench, watching the ducks in the pond, I feel a deep sense of contentment. We've earned this peace, this moment of tranquility. "John," Linda says, her eyes sparkling, "I've been thinking. Let's start trying for a baby." I look at her, my heart swelling with love. I think that's a great idea. We spend the rest of the day dreaming about the future, making plans and imagining the life we'll build together. The thought of starting a family fills us with joy and anticipation. Back at home, we make dinner together, laughing and talking. The kitchen is filled with the aroma of spices and the sound of our laughter. It feels like a new beginning, a fresh chapter in our story. After dinner, we sit by the fireplace, the warmth of the flames wrapping around us. Linda leans in, her lips brushing against mine. The kiss deepens, filled with passion and longing. We move to the bedroom, our bodies entwined, a perfect harmony of love and desire. In the afterglow, we lie together, our breaths mingling. "I love you," she whispers, her voice filled with emotion. "I love you too," I reply, my heart full. The days turn into weeks, and we fall into a comfortable routine. We continue to heal, both individually and as a couple. The shadows of the past no longer haunt us, and we're able to focus on the future. One evening, as we sit on the porch, watching the stars, Linda turns to me. "John, we did it. We came out the other side stronger." I nod, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. Yes, we did, and I'm ready for whatever comes next. We continue to talk about our dreams, our plans. The future is bright, filled with endless possibilities. We're ready to embrace it together, knowing that we can face anything as long as we have each other. As the months pass, we start to see the fruits of our efforts. We're happier, more connected. The scars of the past are still there, but they no longer define us. We've built a new foundation, one based on trust and love. One day, Linda comes to me with a smile on her face. "John, I have news." I look at her, my heart racing. "What is it?" "I'm pregnant," she says, her eyes shining with joy. Tears fill my eyes as I pull her into a hug. That's amazing. I'm so happy. We spend the next few months preparing for the arrival of our baby. The house is filled with excitement and anticipation. We decorate the nursery, picking out colors and furniture, imagining the life we'll share with our child. The day finally arrives and we welcome our baby into the world. As I hold our child in my arms, I feel a sense of completeness. This is what we fought for, what we've been working towards, our family, our future. Linda and I sit together, looking at our newborn with love and wonder. We did it, she whispers, tears in her eyes. Yes, we did, I reply, my heart full. As I look around, I see the journey we've been on, the battles we've fought, and the love that's grown stronger with each challenge. We're ready for whatever comes next, knowing that we can face anything together. Our story is far from over, but this chapter is a beautiful beginning. We have each other, our family, and a future filled with endless possibilities, and that's enough.